What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Cole here, back with another banger for y'all boys. Today we're gonna be reacting to 14 JRPGs to be excited about in 2025, man. If y'all enjoy this type of content, then be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers, man. Help us out, man. Without further ado, man, this is not my original content. This shout out to
I'm going to be 100% honest and
Gaius Israel. I will leave the link to this video in the description below. But without further ado, man, let's hop right into it, man. Let's see what Gaius Israel has in store.
I'm going to be 100% honest and just outright say it. 2025 doesn't look as good as 2024 did for brand new JRPGs, yet. Whereas 2024 had 19 games I looked forward to, with several of those games being brand new IP, and even a few of those games being contenders for Game of the Year in the mainstream. 2025 has 14 games I'm interested in, and every single one of them is either a sequel, remaster, or otherwise leveraging existing IP. No new IP, and for the most part, these are safe releases people who liked prior games will probably enjoy, which isn't very exciting for me, even if I am looking forward to playing the games. However, I have a feeling companies are hiding some nice RPG announcements to coincide with the launch of Nintendo's new hardware next year, and even 2024 surprised me with the existence of Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. Square Enix in particular.
I gotta play Romancing Saga, man. I've been hearing a lot of love for it on Twitter, man. I played the demo and I couldn't really get into it, but I might have to go ahead and knock that out when I'm able to, man, because I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and check that one out.
Loves to have something exclusive lined up for new Nintendo hardware historically, especially my favorite development arm of Square Enix, Team Asano. And Atlus has definitely pulled through with launch exclusives for pretty much every Nintendo system ever made. So I think there's a good chance this video will only be about half of my JRPG story for 2025. All that.
Man, I know one thing for certain. My backlog is gonna be clogged for 2025, man. I got a bunch of games off the top of my head that I want to play, but I'm gonna see if he lists some in this video and we're gonna dive in more deep.
That said, Tales of Grace's F Remaster is the first one coming next year for all the major platforms, including PC, on January 17, 2025. I'm happy to say that Tales of Grace's F is definitely one of the good Tales games. Granted, in the series' over 30-year history, there are really only 2 Tales games I wouldn't recommend, and they are pretty much the same ones everybody who's played all the games in the series never recommends, so as long as you avoid those, you'll probably have a pretty good time with the games. Anyways, Tales of Grace's has a really fun 3D battle system that rewards you for sidestepping enemies and then punishing them afterwards. Like a lot of older Tales games, you can also play the battles couch co-op multiplayer if you've got a friend or relative with you and multiple controllers, but I'm unsure if the remaster will have this feature too. Tales multiplayer is one of those features Bandai Namco never advertises because it's more of an interesting gimmick than a reason people usually buy the games. My favorite characters in Tales of Grace's F are Sophie and Pascal, but Tales games in general are known for having better character presence than a lot of other JRPGs, usually due to having actual personalities to begin with, which they proudly and humorously demonstrate during and after.
The only Tales games I only played like 2: Tales of Arise. I've been beating it in Tales of Vesperia. That's could be considered one of the best. I don't know if it's Berseria or one of the two, but it's the guy with the wearing the all black and the purple hair, I think. But yeah, I only played those 2, and I love the Tales games. I just never really went back into it. I'm like halfway through the game now, because those games don't typically be that long. But I say that to say I might have to check this one out. I keep hearing about it, but I know I got a lot of like kind of I don't want to say bigger titles, but they are kind of bigger. So like Monster Hunter and Freedom Wars. Those are the ones I'm looking for, and even at a new Assassin's Creed out, but I don't think you would consider that an RPG. But yeah, I might have to cop this one too. My poor wallet, man, in 2025, man, it's insane, honestly.
character battles. There's always some character that will grow on you. The remaster does have some nice quality of life features like being able to turn off encounters, destination icons, and instant battle retry when things go wrong. And if you're like me and love making your characters look as goofy or as glamorous as possible while you're saving the world, this remaster also includes a ton of cosmetic DLC you would have had to pay a small fortune for if you bought the original game years ago. There are going to be a lot more things referenced in this game from older games that may confuse you. Probably the most relevant game to Trails Through Daybreak 2, aside from the first game in the arc, is actually Trails of the Beginning, and particularly C's story in that game. If you have never played a game in the Trails series before because you don't want to start in the middle of the series, I'm going to recommend a new...
My first ever Trails game was Trails of Cold Steel 2, and I beat that to completion. I think I almost damn near platinum that my first time playing. I want to say that I played it on, I don't know if it released on the Vita. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've definitely played it on the PS4 and flipped it. And I like started 2, but I never really finished 2. And I'm playing through Trails of the Sky now on my PC, and it runs great. Even without a graphics card, it runs beautifully. And yeah, even the Trails of the Sky remake is coming out in the fall, and I'm super excited for that. So I'm gonna get I wish I could stream it for you guys, but I don't like how the display looks, and I don't want to get too deep into it. But yeah, I say that all that to say Trails of the Sky is another game that I coming out, but I don't know, I might have to cop this one too. I might have to play Trails of Daybreak first, then hop into 2. Because these games honestly look great, you know what I'm saying? And I know my PC could definitely run the turn-based game. So, and this game looks gorgeous, and I've always been into the story and stuff like that. I've been trying to play them in chronologically, excuse me. So, like all the Trails of the Sky games, I know the 3 games, and then I forget off the top of my head how they go, but I know Trails of the Sky is definitely the first game. But
new one coming out later in this video that will be, without argument, the best and only one to start with. Anyways, I've already played Trails Through Daybreak 2 in Japanese, and every game in the Trails series that came before it, so I do have some things to say about it. The first is that I was personally disappointed with this game, and I can't exactly talk about why without spoiling the story, other than to say it's very, very repetitive in its storytelling. I wasn't so disappointed I'd never play another game in the series, but this definitely felt more like a setup game to me for what comes next rather than a satisfying standalone experience that wraps up nicely like a lot of other games in the Trails series. What I will say though is that, aside from the storytelling structure, I still love the battle system, I still love the characters, I did at least like the last chapter of the game, and I'm still excited to play the third game in the Calvard arc, Kai no Kiseki, Farewell O Zemuria. So if you enjoyed Trails Through Daybreak for its characters and its gameplay, you should consider giving Trails Through Daybreak 2 a try when you get the chance. Just lower your expectations a bit when you're playing it. The Trails series is basically the long game when it comes to JRPGs, and each game in this series is part of a much bigger whole. That can be easier to see for players who've been with the series through multiple games or even arcs, over players whose first and only JRPG in the series was Trails Through Daybreak. Trails Through Daybreak 2 releases on February 14th for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. Now, while Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii doesn't look like much of an RPG to me, I haven't actually played the game myself to judge. But
I only played one Yakuza game, and it wasn't Like a Dragon, it was the one before that, and I've enjoyed it. But I might actually give this one a try. This game puts me in the mind of Sleeping Dogs, the game that Naughty Dog made a few years back, and I definitely love Sleeping Dogs. But for the Yakuza game, I don't know. This one comes out at the same time Assassin's Creed do, so I don't know if I want to skip it. I don't know if I want to give it a try. Let me know in the comment section below if you will be playing Yakuza Pirate. I just forgot the name of the game like that, but it looks good. It looks good. I will definitely not sleep on this, but this is like a whole bunch of games that comes out of February that I want to try, but I definitely probably won't sleep on it.
But it seems like Sega themselves have given it the RPG tag on Steam. Furthermore, I'm looking forward to it, so what the heck, I'm going to plug it here. I love the Like a Dragon series, and even as someone who usually prefers turn-based combat systems, I actually prefer Like a Dragon games to be more action-oriented to the turn-based direction the recent numbered games are going. I also think Majima Goto should have gotten his own game a long time ago after I played my first game in the series, Yakuza.
I don't know, to me, Yakuza should be action-based. But I know I forgot which one it was before Like a Dragon, but that one was turn-based too. I mean, I didn't mind it. It was on Xbox Game Pass, and But yeah, to me, these games should be action-based. That's just my personal opinion.
Was a 0, so naturally I'm very interested in this game. Like a Dragon games are always wacky fun for the big 18 plus kids like me, and the sea battles look a lot more fun than the ones in Ys 10 and Skull and Bones, so I'm on board. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii releases on February 21 for the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S, Xbox One, and PC. Monster Hunter Wilds releases on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S.
This is the game that I will be playing in February. I'm definitely copping this. This is one of them games with chat. I'm gonna be like, chat, hop on. We finna go hunting. You know what I'm saying? We finna go grind resources and shit like that. This and Freedom Wars, man. These are one out of the two of the biggest games that's gonna be, you know, as far as me covering content on my channel. So, man, if y'all enjoy MMOs and stuff like that, man, go ahead and get in here, man. If you know you can play Monster Hunter, man, don't sleep on this, bro. Do not sleep on this game, bro. That's what I'm saying. 2025 has so much content, and it's too many games coming out for people to be saying their game is dead. It's very much alive. It's just all about your personal preference. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to try new shit out, bro, because you're gonna be missing out on a whole bunch of gems. And I promise you, this is gonna be the one of the. If y'all thought 2024 was a good year for gaming, 2025 is probably gonna even be better. That's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But we will see. We will see.
And PC on February 28th. Man, I have a ton to say about the Monster Hunter series and the thousands of hours I've sunk into this series since my first Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, on the PSP. One day, I will probably release a Monster Hunter series video on this channel. Anyways, Monster Hunter Wilds has a heavy Monster Hunter World vibe to it that I actually have mixed feelings about. I did play the time demo for this game that Capcom released, and it was fun. It felt like every other Monster Hunter game I played, and in fact, I was still able to rock face hard with the hammer like I always do whenever I play Monster Hunter. There's a new wound system that's kind of interesting, I guess. I can't say I'm a big fan of the large open environments though, as I prefer it to be easier for me to get to a monster than harder, but I know a lot of people love that and it doesn't ruin the game for me. I do hope the game keeps the sense of fun it had with a lot of the joke weapons and armor Rise had in it though too. I personally liked Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak more than World. I prefer the more colorful, less photorealistic aesthetics and characters in Rise. All that said, gameplay is king for me, and that's one thing Monster Hunter always delivers regardless of how it looks, so I'll always be interested in playing the new games in this series when they arrive. I've played way too many Monster Hunter games to get too excited about a new one anymore, so as much as I love Monster Hunter, I'm probably going to wait for Capcom to release the expansion to the game and finish releasing updates like I did with Rise and its expansion before I actually buy the game. Then I can solo YOLO no life all the content at once in a 2-week period like I did with Rise and Sunbreak when those games were on sale for a pittance. Then I won't have to wait months for Capcom to trickle new content and monster updates like they always do, and I can buy Wilds and its expansion for a much lower price together. Now, while I don't feel compelled to purchase this game right away, I wouldn't fault anybody who does, as it will be a fantastic game that people are going to talk about at least as much as they did World when that game dropped. Now, I already talked about Suikoden 1 and 2 last year, thinking they were going to be released back then, but now they have an official release date of March 6, 2025 for PlayStation.
This come out the month of my birthday, so definitely might have to be a cop. My boy Cali Q, man, shout out to Cali Q, man. He been recommending me this for I don't know how long, and now it's coming out on modern consoles. Now I can just buy it on whatever I want. 9 times out of 10, I'm buy it on my PC because it's gonna be cheap. But man, this game has me excited to say the least, man. If Cali Q, you know what I'm saying, recommend you a game, I mean it's good. He recommended me Grandia, and I played through that, and I know like that. I didn't beat it yet, but I definitely when I played it, I enjoyed the combat system, and I enjoyed the graphics for what it was, and I loved it. So when he said he loves Suikoden, I gotta try it. I gotta try it.
PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series S, Xbox One, and PC. Suikoden was the first JRPG I played on the PlayStation, and it was an amazing game for its time. I especially remember the extremely emotional music tracks and duels in the first Suikoden, which is my favorite game in the series. I won't be playing these remasters since I've already played the originals, but they were great games I can especially recommend to anybody who recently enjoyed Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. You do a lot of running around in these games recruiting characters into your army, and many of the recruits are playable too. But this also adds a lot of menuing to change up new party members' equipment. development. I'm sure the remasters may have made this better, but the games are dated for their time, so I don't know how they'll compare to today's RPGs. Still, they are definitely worth looking into, and even if they don't top my list, these games do top many players' RPG top lists for a good reason. The announcement for the release of Xenoblade Chronicles Cross on the Nintendo Switch on March 20th nearly made me...
I gotta finish the first Xenoblade, bro, before I even think about diving into Xenoblade. I did enjoy Xenoblade on the Switch, but I have to finish it before I think about even copying Xenoblade X. I know this was an exclusive off the Wii or Wii U, one of the two, that people have been craving about for years to come on the Switch. But I think this one's gonna be a big Switch 2 title too, and I'm definitely copping that new Switch 2 when it comes out in March. Of course, it's not confirmed, but if you look at how, you know what I'm saying, it's been, the Switch released in March of 2017, 7 and 8 years ago, so it's only right that it's gonna release around, you know what I'm saying, March 2025.
And of course, one day after Xenoblade Chronicles Cross releases is another game I'm really looking forward to. Atelier Yumiya, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land is the first new JRPG I'm very excited to play this year, and it looks like a very fresh game compared to prior Atelier games. The way this game has been marketed, it almost looks and plays more like a Tales game with its faster combat system and the more human villains in the game. Prior Atelier games had a more slice-of-life pacing, emphasizing NPC interactions to develop the story, and mostly lacked humanoid villains. This game does not have the cozy vibe many of the more recent Atelier games have. The new protagonist, Yumiya, also has more of a sophisticated older OL or Japanese office lady look as opposed to the Bishoujo look popular in many Atelier games. The game looks like it will be a proper open world, or at least similar to Atelier Rise of 3's large open areas. Yumiya herself can surmount elevations with her rocket heels, and her acrobatic flips are a nice fancy touch too. I mentioned in my Atelier series video how I think the more open zone direction from Atelier Rise of 3 definitely had potential with this series, so I'm glad Gus has decided...
I might have to check this one out. I don't think... I know it's tell you like 1, 2, and 3, but I might have to play this one first. It don't really matter too much. I wouldn't stress about, you know what I'm saying, playing the games in order. You know what I'm saying? If this is your first Atelier game, I'll just start with this one, in my opinion. Let's skip ahead to this video.
Xbox Series S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on March 21st. When it comes to Metroidvanias, Hollow Knight is the king of the world right now without a doubt, and the expectations for that game are so high I doubt the developers of that game will ever be able to meet them when they finally finish that game. However, I've personally always been a little more attached to Ender Lilies myself, and its sequel, Ender Magnolia: Bloom in the Mist, will be leaving early access on March 25th, 2025. Now, I'm not part of the early access crew on this game, and so I haven't played it, but that makes me no less excited to play the full game when it releases. Ender Lilies is an extraordinarily atmospheric Metroidvania game. Honestly, one of the best of its genre too, in my opinion. Millie, who I've talked about...
These graphics look good, and it's a platform I might... Bro, that's what I'm saying. I never even heard of this, bro. Like, what? This is crazy.
In the past for their work on the Goblin Slayer soundtrack, did the soundtrack to Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolia. I have had a chance to listen to a playlist of the music on YouTube, and it's just literally everything I want to hear playing a new game in this series. Ender Magnolia looks to continue the dark fantasy traditions from Ender Lilies that made that game so special. The crowd in early access seems to love this game as its aggregate overwhelmingly positive reviews illustrate on Steam, so I have no doubt I will too when I pick it up in 2025. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D doesn't have a release date yet, and there haven't even been any gameplay images from the games yet, but I know I'll be buying these games the day they're released in the West. Part of Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D actually has the entirety of Dragon Quest 1 inside of it, so I already know the game is going to look nice. And while vanilla Dragon Quest 1 itself is a very, I'll just say, basic game, Dragon Quest 2 will probably have some decent personality to go with the characters in that game that are part of the story. And what kind of Dragon Quest nerd would I be if I didn't want to subject myself to Hiroshi Miyaoka's Frankenstein of a Dungeon, The Cave to Roan in glorious HD 2D. The Lunar series, which started...
The only Dragon Quest game that I've played is maybe 8 and 11. I beat 11 twice. I love Dragon Quest 11. I can't wait for 12, but I might have to check out the older titles too.
on the Sega CD became something of a 90s JRPG darling series during its heyday. I personally didn't play the games until they came to the PlayStation, and I did enjoy them, but I kinda put them on the same JRPG tier as the Breath of Fire series. To me, they were very okay JRPGs that sold very well in Japan. But I love the extraordinarily anime aesthetics of Lunar, and I was always a little sad we never really seen games like them since. A lot of that has to do with the sad fate of the game's developers, Studio Alex, which consisted of experienced veterans from Nihon Falcom, and I think a feud between the Western publisher Game Arts and Sega may have also had something to do with the fate of the series in the West too.
This game was really good. I love that the 2D is coming back, man. I love it. I love it, man. I love 2D games. Octopath Traveler is a beautiful game too.
Fortunately, it looks like Gung Ho Online Entertainment is publishing remasters of the first two games to be released later in 2025 on all of the major platforms, which is great for people who missed out on those games or want to play them again on current platforms. I know a lot of people really love these games, and I can definitely understand why. And that's not all Gung Ho Online Entertainment is publishing. They somehow snagged worldwide publishing rights for Trails in the Sky First Chapter from Nihon Falcom, and this is the game.
I'm super excited for this, man. Just like I was telling y'all before earlier, man, this is the game that I need my people to support, man, so we can get Trails of the Sky 2, Trails of the Sky 3, and you have an option to change it between action or turn-based, so you can play it just how you want to. You know what I'm saying? You like action, you know what I'm saying? Switch to action mode. You know what I'm saying? If you like turn-based, keep it turn-based. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely buying this on PC, bro, and I can't wait to look at the game and be able to stream the game. And yeah, I'm super excited for this, bro. Y'all just don't know, man.
Game you want to play if you've ever wanted to play a Trails game but found all the existing arcs and games confusing. This is the first game in the entire Trails series and the only game in the Trails series you can play without being spoiled on anything or having to do external research to catch up on anything you may have forgotten about older games you played or didn't play. And if you even just like JRPGs, there's very little reason not to play this game, as it's the beginning of one of the greatest ongoing JRPG series ever made. Given just how many people I know who wanted to get into this series, I expect this also has the potential to become the best-selling Trails game of all time when it releases, if Gung Ho can manage the marketing and localizations well. That's what I say to people who haven't played the games. But even me, who has played all the games and normally wouldn't want to go back and buy and play a game I already played, am extremely interested in playing this game simply due to the graphical overhaul. This is the kind of overhaul I would have been happy if Final Fantasy VII got, and this Trails in the Sky game seems to be doing it right. Now, all that said, this is a very good game, but I personally think the second chapter is better. Of course, you wouldn't be able to enjoy the second chapter without playing the first, so like I always say with the Trails series, the entire series is better than its individual parts, and some parts are better than others. While there's no specific release day, it has been narrowed down to fall 2025, and I think a release right around October would be healthiest for this game's sales, assuming Xenoblade 4, Persona 6, or Final Fantasy 17 aren't released around that time. Very recently, P-Cube announced that Class of Heroes 3 Remaster would be released in the West in 2025 for the Switch, PlayStation 5, and PC next year. The original Class of Heroes 3 was never released in the West. The Class of Heroes series is basically a wizardry-inspired anime-style dungeon-crawling JRPG.
He didn't put Freedom Wars on here, but that's another one I can't wait for. Man, if you guys enjoy this type of content, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm super excited for 2025, what the future holds, man. We're gonna be gaming. We're gonna be gaming, man. Hopefully I can beat them all, you know what I'm saying? And let's just go for the ride, man. I truly love making content for you guys. I truly love streaming, and we're gonna be going crazy, bro. We're gonna be going crazy. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, man. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all boys.